So I don't think I ever actually, or maybe I did tell you the story. Did I ever tell you the story about the first time I ever planned and spent the night at John's house? And how I
don't
brought,
think
like, a
so.
t-shirt to sleep in?
No.
Oh my god. So, like, obviously as women, I think most women have a selection of t-shirts that are, like, their sleeping pajama shirts that are, you know, gotten over the years through ex-boyfriends. Maybe I'm wrong, but, like...
No, I have them. I actually wear them out.
Oh, okay.
I'm like that girl.
Okay, so I definitely did not have any I wore out, but I still had a few that I would sleep in.
I should just sleep with them. They actually are now just sleep shirts.
I mean, you
Continue.
do you. You do you. No judgment here. But point being, so it's like the first night I planned to sleep at his house, so I like pack up a bag, right?
Yeah.
So I pack one of these t-shirts to sleep in, because like, it's what I sleep in, you know what I mean? And one of the first things he says to me is something along the lines of like, where'd you get that t-shirt? And I'm like, I don't know, like, what do you mean? And he basically said, like, obviously, like, you didn't go out and buy that shirt. And he went in his closet and grabbed, like, a t-shirt he had that he's never worn because he bought t-shirts too big for him. Mm-hmm. And he gave me one. He's like, here you go. You can sleep in this.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so that's funny. But with him, like, I actually wear his t-shirts. Only his plain. Like, his plain black or his plain white. But I wear them quite often.
Because aren't they super soft?
Well, they're not even super soft. They're just super comfy. Like, how big they are. And, like, they're his. So there's something about it that's, like, comforting as well as comfortable.
Totally.
But I wear them a lot. But yeah, that's my story. That was a really funny one. And then I, like, got rid of all my t-shirts I slept in from other guys.
Yeah, so that's why at least I packed them away, because one day I might want to wear my old metric t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Black, because the thing is, it's actually, for me, a collection of band t-shirts. So I've got, like, the Black Keys and a couple others, but...
Obtained through ex-boyfriends.
So it was like a combo. It's like a memorabilia from an evening, also their shirt that I commandeered. So they had to, so they're so meaningful. So they went in a box because I don't just need to wear those to the gym. I guess that's also what I mean by wearing them out.
Well, and those are wearable t-shirts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that makes sense. The
Yeah.
sleep ones I had were all, like, ones that were too big or had, like, a little hole in them. Like, ones that, like, my exes, like, stopped wearing. If that makes sense. Not, like, from their active wardrobe.
Oh no, I'm a swiper.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not a
I
swiper.
think there's a type. I'm definitely a swiper.
Yeah, no, not me. Not a swiper. But yeah, that was the story. So do we just, like, jump in? Because we're already recording.
I mean, we can jump in. We can start with a little introduction. We can do any of the following because we're the bosses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you mean by an introduction?
Oh, we can jump right in.
Okay. Because I assumed our jumping right in would be being like, hey guys, welcome to, you know.
Yeah, but, you know, who are we even welcoming? Let's tell stories and see if anyone's listening. And
I
then
feel like
we're
we
all in
still
the
got to
same-
introduce what we're doing.
Absolutely.
I feel like you have to start by saying what podcast you are.
I guess I'm just, like, pro editing because it's like, oh no, you add that. Like, it's cherry. It's everything gets plotted.
But to plot it, it has to be recorded.
I know, but we recorded our trailer and it says, "Hey, welcome to Four Eyes."
Oh, so
Open
you would just put
podcast.
that in.
I'm Julia.
I'm April. Start. Yeah. Didn't pick up on any of that there. Yeah.
We can do it another way.
No. I'm okay. I'm good. Oh gosh, I feel like this is
No, this is perfect.
yeah. This
This
is
us
what
jumping
this is
right
about.
in. This
Yeah.
is us giving an introduction. This is us also doing neither of the above.
Neither of you, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so welcome.
So what do you want to talk about today?
I think that we're going to talk about friendships today.
I think friendship is the solid core to our best selves.
100%. I would agree with that completely, and that is why it's a whole episode. Friendship. So yeah, welcome guys. I think to start, part of what needs to be explained is like our friendship story, because it's pretty cool, I think.
I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, not to say everyone's going to agree with that.
It's rare.
It's rare.
I like rare and unique things.
Yeah.
I think those things are special.
100%. So our story, Julia and I met in junior kindergarten.
We were 4 years old.
4 years old. So crazy timing too, because we're filming this in September, and that's the school year start
Always
here.
back to school. It's my
Yeah.
first time going back to school, actually. I'm feeling it heavy this year.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah, you're back to school. Exciting, exciting. So because it's back to school time, it has now been 30 years since we would have first met, which is pretty crazy. These little 4-year-olds.
Cheers, my love.
Oh, cheers. And you guys can do the math on our ages there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so welcome. So yeah, 30 years of friendship. It's been, I don't even know if I could say a wild ride. An interesting ride, for sure. Yeah, so I
Not
think
wild.
that...
I think that's good, too.
Yeah.
You don't want your entire life to be wild. You want to have wild times.
Wild times.
Yes.
Definitely had wild times, but I would not say a wild friendship. To me, I just imagine that's like one that's like up and down, and I wouldn't say
Tumultuous.
yes, yeah, no, that's not what our friendship's about in any way, shape, or form. So, and yeah, since today we're going to talk about friendships and different things that have to do with friendships, I thought we could discuss some things like, you know, if we've ever had any conflicts, some great memories we've had with each other. Yeah. Those I would say most of the ones I can remember are my adult ones with you, for sure. And then, yeah, I've got notes, so I do apologize. I'm looking at them. Hello, we're the Ghetto Podcast. Oh, yeah, so in that I thought, too, because we've had some separations along the way. That's an interesting thing to kind of, you know, bring to the table. And then, oh, yeah, I would like us to talk about maybe why...
Fruit fly.
Yeah, fruit fly driving me crazy. We kind of think we've been successful because it is rare, right? Like, and we know people that we were friends with for a long time, but never to this extent. So kind of like why we think...
Like, you're my longest friend in history.
Exactly. Me
And
too.
same for you.
Yeah, so like how has that been possible? What do we think is the reason why we've been successful in that? So I thought that's where we would start.
Oh, I have a fun tidbit.
Okay.
So today in class, actually, it happened to come up with my partner. Her longest friend, they were 7 years old when they met. And my prof, his longest friend, they were 13. So they
Oh.
were both very proud of that. And I said, oh, hello. I actually, you know, since I was 4. It's great.
Yeah, and not many people have that story. I can't say anyone our age, no one I know our age has had a friend that long. Anyone I know that can say that they've been at the 30 mark or even higher, like I've heard of someone saying 40 years or 50 years, but their ages always still have a different divide than ours does. That makes sense. I'm not making any sense. But either way,
No,
in
it's
our
because
age
ours
group,
started earliest,
yeah.
so we have the longest potential friendship
yes.
at stake.
You totally just nailed what I was trying to say so terribly in that moment there. Yeah,
It's all
so
good.
yeah.
My
I feel like it was funny because when I was trying to think about the things to talk about, the dog voice. It's like, what is that face about? I get it. There's no judgment here. No judgment here. You put on your dog voice all you want. It happens naturally. I don't blame you.
I
Hey,
know.
Paulina. Cutest puppy ever. Yeah, there's a cute puppy right here if you can't. Oh, yeah, you can't see her. She's adorable. So when I was thinking about the conversation topics for this episode, and I had thought about talking about conflicts we've had along the way, I'd realized that I don't even know if people would believe that we have managed in 30 years to never actually have like any form of a serious conflict.
Fight. Like fight.
Yeah.
Or conflict. Yeah.
Knock on wood. Never
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because we went to elementary school together, and elementary school is kids being stupid and drama and whatever. I think we had our flows for sure, like most young kids would have within a friendship, but never like a fight I can think of. I can think of times when we've had our adventures together where we like needed to work through something, but it was always like quick communication, and then it was like done.
Yeah, I think we're very much besties. Like we get along. So that has a lot to do with everything. And I think the few conflicts that we did have, and if you would even call them conflicts, it had to do with kind of a greater society where there's like some sort of a side and a side or something.
Right.
Perhaps, like I think that had like external influences had to do with our conflict. If it wasn't for that external influence, then perhaps that wouldn't have happened.
Valid. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And as adults, the only two things I can really think of is like in our travels, because we've traveled twice with each other. Well, traveled together once, and I traveled to you once.
Yes.
But in those two times, I think there was like one moment during each week where like we maybe kind of didn't understand each other, where like for some people that could have blown up into something, but for us it was like,
I have something funny to
let's talk about this. And I think we worked through it very like quickly and like moved on. Like it's never been anything. And when you travel with someone, it's always so much harder. That's why I'm a firm believer, like travel with your partner.
Find out who they are, what they're about.
You'll know traveling with them 100%.
Oh, yes. I was with this guy, and I was someone who wanted to go to the plane at like the last person on the plane, not to be late, to be totally prepared and easy to jump in. But I didn't have to be first in line because you're just waiting in line. You're waiting in line to wait in line to wait in line.
And regardless of where you get on the plane, you're still waiting on the plane the same amount of time.
And usually you have your very fewly once. Let's see, it was not assigned. That was a wild ride. Like it was Southwest. And you just went to a podium and it was like, I've got this ticket. It was like you're at a game show and you went on the plane. It was wild.
That is wild.
It was wild.
Yeah.
That only happened once. Therefore, there was no reason to rush to your seat.
Yeah.
However, I have missed a flight or two, so definitely do not take my advice.
Yeah, that just happened. Yeah, so that was a little side tidbit there, but yeah, so traveling. So you said you had a story, you thought of a story.
I did, because because you would have sensed this as maybe a conflict, but this is what happened. And this was never communicated from me to you. I know this for fact. It's going to be so funny. So, okay, how do I make this colorful and adventurous for all? So we are in Cancun, Mexico, and it is the first week of June.
Your birthday week. We went for your birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we had met two cute guys, to say the least. And I remember I was promised a full massage the next day. And something happened that you did, and there was something that I couldn't get that full massage. I don't remember what those logistics were. But I was bitter.
Who are you getting a massage from?
It was from, like, the tall Brazilian.
Oh.
I don't remember his name. And there was just something that happened, and because we made plans with these guys to do something, but then you didn't really want to do it. And I know it was my birthday, so I don't have the backing up. Like, I'm not here to throw...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But I do remember the emotion of feeling pissed off, like, what the hell? But I didn't express that in the moment because I couldn't or I wasn't able to, or for whatever reason.
Interesting.
So if that, because that's my side of memory, which is half a memory. Like, I basically told you nothing. Sorry. But that's me.
And there was a lot of booze on that trip.
Oh, I think that's given, I hope.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Crazy. Which I feel like is actually the next.
I do
like,
remember.
Great memories. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Like, no, that's not going on the podcast.
No, because it was about you. I'm not like here to spill your beans.
Probably shouldn't spill my beans. Oh, no, I'm red in the face.
Well, I was ready to jump along.
Okay.
Great memories.
Great memories. I mean, in elementary school, we did lots of fun shit because we were so lucky to have the most amazing teacher I've ever had to this day, to be completely honest.
Mr.
Not
B?
that I haven't had other great teachers, but still top, Mr. B. And he really, like, encouraged us to do a lot of fun things. And I actually, since being with John, have now thought about that I feel like Mr. B changed up like what he really invested in each year depending on what he felt the majority of his students would want to like engage in.
And also what they gave back.
What-
If they
yeah.
were engaging, then he gave more.
Yeah. So I think like our year, he focused so much on like drama, dance, and music. Because like that's what our year
Had skillful people.
rocked at. That's what we
Yeah.
were about. And we still did sports. Like we played on so many sports teams together.
Yeah.
Like every year, right? And we
We
did
had
good.
gold in volleyball.
Yeah, we did good. Like we often did pretty well for like a small school. Except I feel like we did terrible in basketball. But we were good. We were the ghetto school though, so that's what happens. We were the school that
Yeah.
didn't have the gym until grade 6.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But then it
But
was
yeah.
the best school in the city.
It was great. Yeah, no. It was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were lucky. We did lots of plays together, lots of dances together. We won that lip sync contest.
And we got the
Remember?
free limo ride.
Free limo ride.
And the Choo Choo
Choo Choo
Charlie's
Charlie's.
experience to
Yeah.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah, yeah. I have pictures of all of that. So young then.
The limo picked us up from our houses.
Yes, it did. It was pretty
and
great.
It was quite a spectacle at the time.
Yeah, especially because like we're young. Like this is pre-puberty.
Yeah, this is before we even knew what prom could have been or what, like, it
I-
was just like, what?
I feel like we're both wearing crop tops in the pictures.
I have no doubt. Why wouldn't we be?
100%.
What year is this? This was probably 1999 if I had to guess.
Bewitched.
C'est la vie.
That's the song we did the dance to. So whatever year that was like the hit.
And I actually found letters where we were describing like who would kind of be in our dance crew, and that's fun. We were a fun bunch.
We were a fun bunch.
A fun, like, talented. I guess when I said fun there, I meant talented.
We were talented, yeah.
Yeah.
We did the Phantom of the Opera
Mm-hmm.
3 times.
You were Christine.
You were too, though.
I was
We
Christine,
shared it the
like,
first year.
yeah.
Yeah, we did. It was
Yeah.
a shared role. Yeah. Yeah, so lots of fun things for sure in elementary school. The sports team, sleepovers, obviously, because that's when we'd have sleepovers.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
That's when you really bond and connect. That was like camping before, like, you were old enough to just go camping with your friends or cottaging.
Right.
Or
Yeah. Yeah.
going to a cottage, depending on where you were cottaging, means something completely different.
This is true. I remember your like tiny little bed.
Oh, my little single with those glow in the
'cause
dark
you
stars.
were like the only person ever that like had a single.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
oh, it was so cozy.
everyone else would have like a twin, and you had like the single.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a tiny little bed.
It was a tiny little room.
It was, like,
it
really
was like
cute, though.
half the size of this carpet.
Yeah, well, because it had like the
The
angle,
slanted
yeah,
roof,
the slanted roof.
which really cut it in half even
Yeah,
more.
it's true.
But oh, it's just I get cozy in tiny places. I don't mind being boats, like
No, it makes
my
sense.
cabin on a boat. The slanted. Oh wow, it all makes sense.
Yeah, see, I don't
The
think I could be
slanted
down for
roof
that.
and, like-
That's probably why I've never had a desire to go on a cruise. Is because the idea of being in a tiny little cruise room.
Yes, that's true, especially with thousands of people.
Mhm.
That does freak me out too. There's nothing that shouldn't freak you out about that situation. So let's be clear about that. When I say
Perfect.
boat, it's not the same. I did
Yeah.
a cruise once. It was a Pitbull cruise.
Oh, fancy.
It
Did you
was
meet
like
people?
I didn't meet him, but I was with my friends in a hot tub. and Pitbull was on stage. It was pretty epic.
That sounds pretty
Yeah.
epic, yeah.
So honestly, I think I will never go back to like go on a cruise again, because even then we just ate. We were there for 3 days. We had 5 dinners every day, like 5 dinners each day, because food is good. No, that's you're there to eat and drink. I mean, but it's not like the resort where there's more. You're really stuck,
Right.
as you imagine.
Yeah.
And they have different sports and activities. And I kind of, with the right group or like the right partner, I would definitely be down for those little activities to keep you busy and not just eating the whole time. But with our like college group of friends, it was just, you're there to eat and drink.
Right.
It just became obscene.
Interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, lots of fun stuff as kids. And crazy things as teenagers I don't even want to admit on air, to be completely honest.
I wasn't a teenager ever.
You know, I mean, we live teenage years, I think. And then, yeah, so I guess it works into like the separations conversation too, right? Because
Our time spent apart.
our
right?
time spent apart, yeah. So friends all through elementary school, friends all through high school, and then we went on different paths. You actually ended up going to university with like 2 of our other really close friends from high school, and I ended up going to college with one of our close friends at the time from high school.
And elementary school.
And elementary school, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, separation there for the time. How many years were you? Well, university was different because you stayed in Toronto.
Yeah. So I lived in Toronto for about 10 years.
10 years.
And then I moved to Florida for about 5.
Right, and we stayed friends that whole time.
The whole time.
But
we just
obviously,
didn't live in the same city, and you moved.
yeah, and I moved,
well.
yeah, out in Niagara. So even when you were back here, sometimes I wasn't here because I was in Hamilton. But we stayed friends still. We just didn't see each other as often or talk as often. But it was like I never worried about that.
Never.
Do you know what I mean?
Me
Like,
either.
there's always, like, obviously I wished it was easier to spend time together, and I wished that it was easier to talk more, but there was never, like, people get busy, especially as we get older, and we both know that, so it never seemed not okay, if that makes sense.
I agree. Completely.
Yeah, so I never worried. It was always like I knew the moment we could see each other, we'd see each other, and it would all be like we'd been seeing each other
It's
all the
bread and
time
butter,
since that.
as they
Yeah,
say.
no worries about it whatsoever. So that went on, and then mixing in again. So while you were in Toronto still, you'd reached out to me about going away for your birthday. So that was one of our great memories. We ended up
Yeah.
going to Cancun, Mexico.
Just you and me.
Just you and me. And you've traveled lots before that, but I never had. That was my very first vacation
Airplane,
ever.
Time on a plane, right?
Yeah. Very first real vacation, very first time in an airplane, very first time out of the country, like all of that my first.
Oh.
When we went, and Cancun was a crazy time. Like, that place is nuts. Every night of the week, there's like some scene going on, right? What did we do? We went to like every cool club, like on the main 3 clubs of the Strip or something like that. We definitely went to
Bongo
Coco
is
Bongo.
kind of like
the
my favorite.
yeah.
Not kind of. It's my favorite place because it's just so sweet in how it combines a nostalgia of The Mask, the movie,
Yeah.
and the fun environment of unlimited alcohol, and then there's also acrobatics
Yeah.
and smoke, and just such a show for the senses.
Well, and I feel like they did more than The Mask too. I feel like there was like a
Oh, yeah,
scene from like Tron.
Oh, absolutely.
I have tons of pictures of it, but like they did a bunch of different
Every famous it's funny, like Moulin Rouge, and they like did steps for Michael Jackson, just like a lot of famous shows. They put it all together in a nice bundle, and it really hit my sweet spot.
Yeah.
So I hold Coco Bongo closely to my heart.
Yeah, no, that one was a good one, and it was fun too with the like air things that they had. Was that one?
Oh, yeah. Where they would blast like
Yeah.
air chillers.
And they'd always do it to the beat.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So everyone's like dancing and dancing. They're waiting for that beat to drop. And the moment the beat drops, the air goes and the graffiti drops from the ceiling. And like, yeah, that was insane. Ooh. So much fun.
So good.
So much fun. Yeah.
I went to parties where they had this different kind of like Tron looking characters that up on stilts, but they're like laser men. So they're like all in black and just like laser etched characters having guns, and they would blow that same cold air at people. With the guns. Or at the, like, you know, not just some people would be like, shut me up, and it was hilarious because it's a blast of cold air, like liquid. It must be liquid nitrogen, but a little bit. I don't know that. I have to fact check that because I'm curious. I don't know what it is, but it's cool.
It's got to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also went to the one in the stadium, which I feel like they told us was like the biggest club in Latin America.
I totally forgot about that club ever. They got the best music.
That one was a lot of fun, and that one...
It was huge. It was like a football field, full.
It was like a full stadium,
and the stadium was full of just party dancers. And it was a club, so you still had your bars to go to. Oh my goodness!
They had the center thing too, where they had like acrobats and stuff like that. And I'm probably totally
promising show.
No, you're okay. Okay. We did that. And then I don't remember what the other bar was. Because the first night we got there, we went to a different bar. But they were all the ones done through the resort, where you buy the bracelet and they take you there.
I would imagine there's probably like 10 to 12 clubs. Right. I would say like two top clubs and then 3 to 5 close to top clubs and so on and so forth. And they're all kind of in the same area. And I know we bought a pack for just like, I don't know if we got 3 or 4 or 7 bracelets, but just a bunch of bracelets to go to all the nights, right?
We bought them each day. We decided each day what we wanted to do that night, and we went 3 times to the Strip.
Right.
One night, you slept while I went to the foam party.
Oh, well, it's not good for my skin. I have an allergy.
Yeah. I totally rocked the foam party and had a lot of fun, and you, I think, slept.
I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're safe. But you know what? If I had to sleep, April, you know me. I needed it.
And then a few nights where we just kind of like hung out on the resort. So that would make up the 7.
And then
nights.
There was also like a club on the resort too, which there isn't always.
That's where they did
to take for granted.
The foam night was the one on the resort.
There you go.
Yeah, so I just stayed on the resort for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then other great memories would be me going to Florida.
Oh, yeah. That was such a fun time.
So, yeah, I booked a flight, planned it with you, just for me, hopped on a plane, went and saw you for a week in Florida. That one, I traveled a few times, but that was my first time ever traveling on my own. Like, with you, I've broken some pretty big, like, comfort bubbles, right?
Because I was even traveling alone, but next time you could travel alone, if you had to. Like, you don't even want to or need to, but it's just, like...
It feels nice to know you can.
An airplane, but there's still, like, for you to just get your own hotel, your own whatever, you can.
Yeah. And that was fun. I had a good time in Florida. Being on the boat was cool.
Love being out on the boats.
On oceans. Nothing wrong with riding on boats on oceans. And, we had a night where a bar that we went to allowed you to rent Cards Against Humanity, and a group of us played that. That was probably one of my favorite nights in Florida. Because
I think it was one of my favorite nights in Florida. Absolutely.
Which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Mostly, like, part of it was, like, the card game, obviously, because I think I'm hilarious. So, and I think I kill at that game. Therefore, it was a wonderful time. So, yeah, those are, like, the things that definitely... And then you coming back. We are both now, after how many years... living in the same area of each other.
Finally, after it's basically been like 29 years, you could say, right?
Well, it would have been since like high school, since we were 18.
Oh.
So whatever, 14 years. No, 18, 14, 16 years. It's been 16 years since you and I have officially, like, lived our addresses, where all of our things are.
Oh, we've been gone for that. Yes, for sure.
In the same vicinity of each other. And here we are.
I'm so happy.
Me
to be
too.
here.
We see each other every Tuesday night for the past little while, and we're now recording this podcast.
Every week. We have been. Like, it's a lot of... it took a lot to get here, and there's still a lot of progress to go.
We're still ghetto.
It's awesome.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I come from the ghetto, so I'm okay with the ghetto podcast. Yeah, so... I think now it's like... the time to talk about why do we think we've been able to last so long in this friendship.
Okay.
I think a part of it is, and this is something I think relationship-wide, and like it's funny to me because you say like you don't communicate, but I do communicate, and I think it takes mostly two things, the communication and the comprehension, and now I'm feeling like I communicate, you comprehend.
Oh. Explain.
Well, because you're saying you don't actually ever, like when you were talking about in Cancun. You're like, I never actually told you this is what I was thinking, but I would have definitely told you what I was thinking.
But I didn't know it at the time.
Oh.
No, that's the difference.
This is like post-realization.
Yes. Because I didn't even think that we had an issue, but I remember... No, I didn't think we had an issue at all. But if you said that we had a moment where we were apart, and that was just where it clicked. It was just... today that I thought of how I was just a horny letdown.
See, I don't think that's what it was about.
Then what was it about? Well, geez.
So
like,
what
I'm here spilling my tea.
I remember is because you'd recently gone through a breakup.
Oh, yeah. I just blocked that shit out.
Yeah.
So maybe that... Yeah, I blocked that out.
And
that's healthy.
There was a bit of a
relapse or like what?
Like an emotional moment, and then I'm trying to be like, let's go have fun. And you were, and then I'm like, come on.
My heart was pretty broken. I'm not gonna say it wasn't.
Which is probably a part of why you wanted to escape to Cancun.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, him and I shared birthdays season.
I dig it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Someone wanted to give me a massage. That's all I remember. I was like, my shoulders are still tight. Like,
I still freaking remember that Brazilian guy too, and just being like, "Oh my God, Julia, you always pick like
what?" Because I remember who
you just have a unique taste, always though. I don't
I'm
have
not
a
surprised
specific
with that.
look. You know what I mean? I'm like all over the map. I got some.
Mine aren't all the
some
same.
Good
though.
picks, some bad picks.
I can agree with that. There's a systems to the structure or something, but they don't look the same.
You're right. I just think like always not on par. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that a bad thing? Is that bad? It's because I'm like so. I don't trust anybody.
Well, I mean, what I've learned over the years is that the 5s or the 6s are just as shady as the 8s and the 9s. If that makes any sense.
I would say to compare, I wouldn't compare and give I judge people. I do. Don't say that I don't. I won't pretend that I don't. But by looks, I wouldn't give someone because it changed. Like now, when you say that, like I'm like, oh well, here's a 5. Was he a 5? Like I don't think he was a 5. I don't know.
But I mean, that's not really the point. The point I'm trying to say
I read your point.
Right?
I read your point.
Doesn't matter. Douchebag's a douchebag, and they come in all different shapes and sizes and looks and personalities.
That is a very, very strong, wonderful point that I appreciate you bringing to light. Because you're not wrong.
And I mean, I dated
the whole thing that I trust no one.
All levels of these men.
Yeah.
So, You know what I mean?
I'm just, like, not fishing because it's not worth my time.
Well, and you don't need to fish. Nothing about that. Just saying, You're an extremely beautiful woman, and, that's all.
Well, we all have different tastes.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
But thank you kindly.
But I mean, yeah, you did kind of admit it tonight, so you can cut that part out.
No, I've never not.
Yeah.
Like I've said, like, I'm like, oh, he's not quite my type. And I said, why?
Right.
Too good looking.
Too good looking.
I'm not. Yeah. There's a type. There's a reason. Like, I don't know. I really do, like, look that heart. Like, if he's gorgeous and that heart is just as big, wonderful.
Okay. So that's good to know then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not closed doors, but I'm just, like, though pretty boys have to come to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, I chase a lot. Actually, everyone has to come to me because I'm done chasing. That's what I've learned.
That's all I want to say, though. I'm cool with you. I just don't want to see you walk away from good potential based on, like...
Oh, no. You think I'm going to turn away a pretty boy?
I don't know.
Well, maybe if he's too young, and I think he's not. Because the thing is, we tell ourselves lies, and I was with someone younger, and I believed wholeheartedly that he was going to be ready for things that I thought we were ready for. And there was no sign of that 4 years later. And that is not necessarily his fault. That is my fault for being naive.
Well, and I think, too, a part of it isn't age. It's a matter of being very honest right from the start.
But I wouldn't give incompatibility, honesty, and all that jazz. Like, it depends, because I tried that. I was already 28. And I said, just be honest. Like, we don't have to. Oh, no.
But he wasn't being honest, is my point.
He wasn't being honest with himself.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, well, that's
and like
the
if
exact thing.
Yeah, I think that it's a matter of, because it's not about age, it's about maturity level. And a man needs to be so mature to be able to be honest with himself about what he's ready for. And you can have a man who is very mature and fully aware that they are ready to settle down, who still might lack the maturity to walk away from a relationship when they realize it's not the person they want to settle down with.
100%.
So you need like that double maturity level almost.
Which only happens with some time.
Possibly. Not always. I don't think it's always. I would not say 100% of the time that is a true story. Because I know some men who are, like, older than me. I dealt with them who are, like, serial daters and will tell the girl and, like, act like he's all ready. You know what I mean? And I've met younger guys that are, like, in a relationship with someone I know and are married and having children. On the timeline, they said they were, and they did it young.
But that doesn't mean anything to me.
I'm just saying, like, it's so unspecific.
Yeah.
Right? That's totally off topic, though. As we're trying to get Paulina to drink some water. What are you looking at me for? You're like, no, I'm done, Mommy.
Yeah, she was... Thing is...
Alright. So I did some research, because I'm lame like that.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm glad. That's my nerd. I don't even want to talk about that. So we talked about, so I said we were talking about why we think our friendship has lasted as long as it has. And then we got sidetracked with me making the joke about communication and comprehension.
Right.
But I do think, for me, I think that's a part of it. It's like being able to communicate. Because, like, even in figuring out all of this stuff, like, it's been, I wouldn't say, like, stressful, but, like, slightly...
It's been a little stressful.
Frustrating? Stressful for you, maybe.
It's been stressful for me.
More sometimes frustrating for me, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, we work through all of it. I think that happens through communication. And acceptance. Right?
Yes.
Of who each other are at their core. Like, I know I can be too much, I can be too loud, I can be too abrasive, too honest, too blunt, too everything. But, like, you know that and you embrace that.
And it's like, I don't even think of it you like that. It's just, I know, because you are you. I know you as well. Like, I've known you longer than an avocado. Weird, right? Yeah. Because I didn't grow up with having avocados on my plate.
I get what you're saying now. Took me a moment.
I thought that would, like,
food is your jam. I get it.
let it resonate, but everyone knows what a fucking avocado is. And it's not ever.
You know what? I don't think I really knew what an avocado was until I was like 20.
Well, that's what I mean. But
Yeah.
you, I've known since we were four.
Four.
Therefore, I know you. The whole point is that I know you so well, so I wouldn't even think about you as the way you describe yourself. Because I just know you as, you're in April.
I'm in April.
Like, that's what I meant by, like, I know an avocado only recently compared to, like, I know what an April is forever.
Yeah, for 30 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That is my example there.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was...
Thank you.
The avocado. Now I'm picturing, like... Because isn't there
With
some
legs.
sort of, like, meme with the avocado with, like, the little legs and the arm?
Yeah, and I can also picture, like, a cut open egg, too. Like, because they've got
Like
the same
dancing,
bellies.
though.
Like, I think an avocado and an egg should just...
It'll be like the
Just
the
do it
hot dog
already.
commercial
Yeah.
in the drive-in that they still actually do. I'm surprised
No.
that's even allowed. Like, the hot dog jumps into the hot dog bun.
It's not Dirty April. What do you mean? You're
not?
surprised? You're
Because it definitely seems dirty to me when I watch it.
That's amazing.
How does it not to you? It's a hot dog.
No, it does.
That's like dancing around and being all flirtatious and then like hops into the bun and they're all like, ooh.
No, but is it like you go together like peanut butter and jelly? Like, it's not supposed to be like sausage in the taco.
But that's what it's like. When was the last time you went to the drive-in to watch this commercial?
It's been a couple years.
Oh my
but
gosh, please.
I saw it recent. Like, it's been
Okay.
recent enough. Like, I know what you mean. I wasn't a kid. I was not a kid.
My
That's
face
funny.
hurts.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Anyways,
Oh.
hot dog in the bun. So yeah, I did some research on what the benefits of friendships are, because I think that's important. It's not just about like, you know, having people to hang out with and talk to, like legitimately a positive friendship.
That's an acquaintance or something, right?
Yeah. Positive friendship with a true connection actually does good things for us. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is in any relationship we have that's a true connection that you've developed over time, it's part of that attachment too with parents and children and all that kind of stuff, is you actually will begin to release chemicals that make you feel happy when you're within a certain amount of feet from that person.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It's all that energy stuff that to some people makes me a crazy person. But yeah, so as we sit here doing this podcast less than 6 feet apart, we are actually like doing good things for our brains and our emotions and our mental health, which is pretty crazy. So the research I did too, so this is an article that came out of the Mayo Clinic, and obviously I'm condensing things down, but it basically talks about friendships increase your sense of belonging and purpose, which makes sense. I can say that since we have created a standing date night, my mental health has improved.
Me too. Me too.
Just
for sure.
in that alone. The idea of having like one of my people who I know is in my corner there if I have anything like negative I need to talk about, or if I need to vent about anything, or just being able to just sit in your 6 feet bubble, you know what I mean?
Come in.
All of that, and then the fact that we have plans to do things with each other, like all of it on just creating a standing date night has fully improved my mental health. And I think that's significant. So one thing I would suggest, not that we have an audience yet, but if an audience ever starts to watch this, is
100%.
make that effort with your friends. And I'm not saying, you know, I have another good friend of mine that I haven't been able to connect with as often I would like to. And our schedules are not going to work out where we're going to be able to be as lucky as we are, where we can do it every week with each other because our schedules match up that way. But I have said to her, like, I want to create a standing date night. Same premise, but I know it won't be every week. It just won't work out that way. So, my suggestion to anyone out there, good friend of yours, create a standing date night. Even if it's 2 nights a month,
Like
where you are
bi-weekly,
fully
right?
dedicated to having that date together. Do it. No matter how hard it is, no matter how much you're struggling, try to do it.
It's worth it. That's your free therapy. That's your free gym session without having to run. That is your just...
So worth it.
Like your chocolate cake without any calories.
100%. Definitely been so unbelievably amazing. And
so good.
it's always
Me too.
fun.
So fun.
Yeah, even when we're frustrated with the technology and my lack of understanding technology maybe sometimes.
It's just like, just let it be. Just gotta let it be.
You know, because I am useless when it comes to all this side. That's all her. She's the technology person, not me. I don't
try.
understand any of it.
Try it.
So it also says, connects to it too, boosts your happiness and reduces stress. That makes complete sense to me. That's what it's doing to me. Improves your self-confidence and self-worth.
It does because you just complimented me all evening. And, you know.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm glad. I didn't even notice. It wasn't like...
No, because I'm like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, and I'm like,
You know what? The fact
You
that
know?
I don't even feel
you
like
don't even notice it.
I was making an effort to compliment, like, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's just it.
Yeah.
I hope you feel that way too. I could try harder.
Friendships help you cope with traumas. They give examples like divorce, serious illness, loss, job loss, death of a loved one. Wow, that just got
Pandemic.
really heavy. Pandemic. Oh, God, I can't even go there. Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I think it's okay if you want to
Yeah,
go
no, I'm
grab
gonna,
more wine. Yeah,
I'm
please.
gonna make. I
Please
will
do.
because I was gonna look to you to see you're still gonna guide us.
Yeah, no, I'm going to keep going here with this research. Encourage you to change or avoid unhealthy lifestyle habits such as excessive drinking or lack of exercise. I don't like their examples very much.
As I poured, how ironic.
Right? Yeah, no, I would agree that like if I had a friend that I felt like their drinking was excessive to the point of an addiction or being super unhealthy, I would probably bring that up.
I would hope so.
But lack of exercise, like I feel like I would only ever bring that up if I had a friend who, like they needed that for their health.
It was like perhaps diabetic only.
By a debit, like went to a doctor and they're like, you're going to be at risk for heart disease if you don't. If you don't, lose some weight, then maybe. But that's a little touchy. I would say I would probably have more to say about a friend with an unhealthy lifestyle habit relating to their relationships
Especially because
than
it's
anything else.
likely would symbol abuse, right?
Yeah. Oh, look it. I'm going to go into the next one too because we ended off our little blurb about why we think our friendship has managed to last.
Yeah.
And I did a little research on why it is sometimes hard to make or maintain friendships. This one's also from the Mayo Clinic. So they're basically saying that adults find it hard to develop new friendships or keep up existing relationships. It's a common thing amongst adults, which makes sense to me. Like, our
Totally.
lives get way busier, right? We're in elementary school, high school. Like, your part-time job is so you can go shopping or, when you get old enough, put a little gas in your car, or when you're bad like us for other things. But overall, like, your time is for your friends at that age. So it does make sense to me that adults find it a lot harder. I have found it a lot harder to keep up my friendships. Between our friends, like, we have mutual friends who are married with kids. And then we also have separate friends that have whatever they got going on. Some married with kids, some not. But I'm definitely finding it hard to keep up with
And
friendships
also make
as much
new
as
friends too, because you can't expect to always keep up because people change, people move. Like you move, who knows?
Yeah.
But to make friends as an adult, it does take a huge effort. But the truth is, you know, you can make friends, but it's never going to be that 30-year-old friendship. So then you have to trust people with a grain of salt, because I want to have my heart open to new friendships. But then again, if someone doesn't know you that long,
What do they really owe you?
they don't owe you anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, how do you make friends as an adult? I know that, because, like, volleyball's my jam, and, you know what, I did dodgeball, too. So I had a couple years where I played on a dodgeball league, and I had quite a few years where I played on a beach volleyball league, which I did up until the pandemic. So, again, pandemic makes it even harder. But I did part of these things because I enjoyed them, and I thought it would be a way to make friends. And I definitely was friendly with my teammates on all the teams. I definitely made acquaintances on some. Like, there's some people I play volleyball with that I'm friends with on Facebook, and, like, I'm truly interested to see what they got going on in their lives, and I'm excited when they post happy things. But they were never
That's acquaintance.
friends.
That's
they were acquaintances, right? So I went into that thinking, like, this is how I can make friends as an adult. Like, how else do you do it?
Yeah, but you have to find that, because you did it right, but you have to find that someone that you connect with to take it to the next level.
That rare gem.
So I'm kind of in the middle. I joined softball, and this is 5 years ago, or actually longer than that. And the team was brand new, and we've come together and added new players as we've gone along. And I'd say we've come across the acquaintance to friend zone, because there's a lot of plans. Like, some people do karaoke on Tuesday nights, and then there's multiple sports leagues throughout the week. So there's kind of like a home base where everyone is more friendly. I say it's a little bit beyond acquaintance, but it's still surface. It's not like,
It's not deep.
it's not, yeah, it's just surface.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, that's
Yeah.
just it,
Yeah.
period. It's
Yeah.
not, it is surface, is what I mean.
Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Like, how do you make friends as adults? And I think the tough thing is, like, for me, I've always had, well, no, in elementary school I think it was different. We came from a small school. It was a small neighborhood. We all lived really close with each other. So in elementary school, I feel like most of us were friends with each other. And, like, pretty decent friends, where, like, you would hang out at their house every once in a while, go for a sleepover. Like, the majority of us had some form of a real friendship in elementary school. Some people more acquaintances and friendships that would ebb and flow or whatever. But in high school, for myself, like, I never had a big group of friends. I was always friendly with a lot of people. Or people didn't like me because, you know, like I said, I can be too much, which is all good. But always a small group of people I would consider my true friends. And I've always taken pride in that. Like, I don't have many friends, but the select few I have are, like, the best people you could have in your corner. So it's all good.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And I
100%.
believe that still to this day, but I think where the issue gets is, like, when you have that in high school and they're more available to you, it doesn't feel like you're lacking anything. But when you become an adult, you can still feel like, I know, regardless of how often I have seen this friend, this friend, this friend, and this friend, if I had anything I needed them for and called them up and were like, I need you, even the ones with kids, like, they're figuring out a way to be there, right? Like, they're in my corner, but they're so busy that it's not bringing, and not to anyone's fault, it's just not adding as much as what I need in my life right now within friendships.
I can relate to that.
Right? Like, I need more interaction. So that's where it gets tough. So you want to make new friends so you can have that interaction. But at the same time, it's like,
Everyone
I feel
has their
like
own stuff going on.
everyone has their own, and I'm good with, like, it's tough because, like, I know the people I have my back. They just can't add that, like, week to week interactions that I need.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And I think, and it's maybe to even go to those people, because I feel in the very same boat, to try to make those monthly standing dates. Because it is also a matter of, that person should, as busy as they are, we are all busy. And if you can't have an hour in a month, you know, then you have to reprioritize your standings too.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, it's
like
been
1
harder.
hour a month, like, because that's not asking a lot.
It's true.
Yeah, and especially when you're willing to go and blah blah blah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely harder over the past almost 2 years or however long. We definitely have made it a goal not to really talk about this whole pandemic, but harder in pandemic times because people are scared and, you know, everyone's kind of, not everyone, but people
that's
are in different
over,
places.
right?
Yeah. Should be. But anyways. So yeah, adults, it makes sense to me adults have a harder time. So it goes on to say, and it says, yeah, because of the priorities, such as caring for children and aging parents and things like that. Yeah. And it is one of those things where, like, you do feel, like, I don't begrudge my friends with kids at all, and I'm happy they have their kids, and they're happy having their kids, and that was all successful and healthy and a good time. Mm-hmm. But it does, unfortunately, as adults, sometimes change the way friendships go. It does change the priorities. And when you don't have kids, your priorities are different. And the priorities don't always align. So it is an unfortunate part of getting older.
Totally.
And, like, I don't have kids. I personally have no intention of ever having kids. So I will never fit into that, like, mom group, you know? Get together with their kids and have their little mom dates. And kid dates.
I still crave that. Like, I still, like... We'll
Yeah.
see. My mom kind of thinks that ship sailed, so that's lovely to hear.
My mom knows that ship has sailed, and I'm very happy about that because I never get the pressure. She's never like, when are you going to give me a grandbaby?
Yeah, no, I don't. Again, I don't get that pressure. I wouldn't want that, but I also don't love to hear that my mom has actually, in different words where she was like, ooh sorry, has said, doesn't expect anything from me.
Maybe she does that for herself, though. It's better to not expect anything than be disappointed.
Sure. Well,
you know?
Yeah. She does have grandchildren, so it's not like she's waiting forever.
True.
That, I think, would be different.
Yeah. Grown apart due to changes in your lives and interests. Moved to a new community. Crazy. It's like we're reading these things, and it's like things that separate people from maintaining a friendship. We've still survived.
We've experienced that and survived.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is awesome. Developing and maintaining good friendships takes effort. The investment is worthwhile. That was lame. I'm sorry. I should have vetted that a little bit better.
I didn't even read that. But you're laughing.
Brutal. I'm laughing at myself for, like, having that in there when, like, so lame. Like, we definitely didn't need to have that piece from the Mayo Clinic. Thank you, though, Mayo Clinic, for your research. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Okay, so the true thing is that the greatest friends is that you want someone to stick with you through the good and the bad.
Yeah, 100%.
And if they can't do that and they're fair weather friends, then they're not our true friend, which is why we talk about them in the acquaintance zone.
Well, and I personally think, not that I'm like any sort of specialist in any of this stuff, but I have conversations with people a lot of the times, and I'll talk about, well, you know, in the job that I do, sometimes I'm talking about it from like a coworker relationship, but I'll also talk about it in a friendship.
What do you do for work? I don't think anyone knows.
I am the manager of a program that helps adolescents struggling with their mental health.
That's wonderful work that you do.
It is wonderful work. Yeah.
It's so neat.
Thanks.
I don't mean to say that so quietly. I was just like, because you kind of lowered your tone, so I lowered my tone too. But it's because you're so modest. You don't need to be modest. You should be loud and proud, as you are about everything else.
Yeah.
Because what you do is very selfless, and it's very meaningful and important, and it takes a very strong person to do what you do.
Thank you.
To say the least.
Thank you.
To say the very least.
Thank you. So yeah, maybe I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about on this. But yeah, so a lot of the times I'm referencing coworkers, but I think it's friendships and relationships. And it's funny to me because I'll notice a lot of people will have conversations about certain things. So confrontation, right? Confrontation is something I talk about a lot in my workplace amongst coworkers. And I've noticed this where people always think it's negative. Like, confrontation is always negative. They have such a negative attachment to the word confrontation. But if you actually Google the word confrontation, there's nothing negative about it. It's an act. You know what I mean? It doesn't have any emotion attached to it.
And it's just like, if I had to guess now, it's just a disagreement in opinion, right?
Yeah, it's like telling someone what you're thinking or feeling, really. You know what I mean? And it's not negative or positive. Like, you can confront someone in, like, a happy way, too, right? Like, it's...
Right, I'm going to confront you with my good news today. I'm going to bombard you with... Yeah.
There's not necessarily... You could read a negative context in it, but there's not necessarily a negative context to it. So it's the same thing that I feel in friendships and something in relationships. But I find when I have this conversation, I need to go to the relationship to get someone to understand it. Because they'll be like, oh, it's hard to confront coworkers, and it's hard to confront friends, right? And I'll say to some of these people... Like, okay, when you're in a relationship, if someone is making you feel bad, is it hard to confront your partner? Well, no. Like, obviously I'm going to tell them how I feel. Mm-hmm. What is different in a friendship? And what is different in a coworker relationship? I think that is where friendships fail, is this idea that they're supposed to be easier than a relationship or a coworker relationship. And it's not. Every relationship we have is work. Mm-hmm. And the work has still mostly the same fundamental foundation to what needs to be worked on.
Yes.
And maintained and continue to have effort throughout it. Right? And I think a lot of friendships fail because people who can completely understand why confrontation is important in an intimate relationship between partners often struggle to understand that confrontation is important in a like a friendship. And you need to be working through those issues. If you don't confront a friend if they hurt your feelings or say something that upsets you or whatever, sometimes everyone will say things we can process in our own heads and get over it. I'm not saying everything needs to be talked about. Those things that you can truly process and like the little butterflies, it's just gone. 100%, you don't need to have that. But the things that linger, the end result is just going to be the same as it is in a intimate relationship with a partner. You're going to hold on to it. You're going to have a grudge. It's going to make you frustrated. And like, no, you can't have that in a friendship either. So I think that is the big part of it. It's that confrontation and ability to say what you're thinking and feeling.